Hey, and welcome to another episode of Back from the Future, Mixtape Tuesdays. Now, today we're going to be talking about SD card build quality. Now, the whole reason I've gotten to this topic is because I've got a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. In my opinion, one of the most amazing cameras, cinema cameras to come out on the market. It is rough. You can, if you take the lens off it, you can roughly put it in your pocket. If you look at the length and width, it's the size of an iPhone, but not the height. I mean, because it's got this big bulky battery compartment, it does make it a lot thicker than a conventional mobile phone. Now, the great thing about this camera is, I'll give you an example. When we started shooting feature films in HD, I think it started with George Lucas when he's in the 90s. He started doing the next lot of Star Wars movies. He shot on a Sony F900. Now, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera can shoot at a higher quality than what George Lucas shot Star Wars on. So this camera is amazing. I mean, you can pick it up for a few £100. Pound for pound, amazing, absolutely amazing. And the range of lenses you can add to it, speed boosters, whatever. I look at this camera, it is biblical. It is absolutely epic. Now the thing is, I shoot on SD cards with this camera. Now if I want to shoot RAW, I have to use the SanDisk Extreme Pro SD cards. And the thing about, which is all well and good, because these are, you know, currently the fastest SD cards that are compatible with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. Now there is a problem that I discovered. I bought this SD card holder to store all my SD cards in, right? But the thing is, it's such a snug, tight fit. It started to damage my SanDisk Extreme Pro SD cards. They started to chip off and come apart, and I wasn't too pleased about that, because, you know, these SD cards are holding, you know, critical data. They need to be the casing needs to be manufactured to a much high-end tighter tolerance. The thing is, then I've got also a SanDisk Ultra, which is like half the speed, but the build quality is far more superior. Not like by a lot, but significantly. Then I bought a Samsung Evo SD card, and I've got to tell you, the build quality is absolutely amazing. However, it's not fast enough to be able to record RAW. I think there is a model up from this that will allow me to record ProRes, which is fine. I can record ProRes on, you know, with a faster Samsung Evo SD card on my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, but I can't do RAW. If I want to do RAW, I've got to do it on the SanDisk Extreme Pro SD cards that write to 95 megabits a second. But the thing is, the build quality is absolute rubbish. It's absolute tosh. I think one of them, I've got it over here, is literally coming apart. You know, I'll show you some close-up videos, pictures of it literally, you know, peeling itself apart. So the build quality, I don't know what SanDisk are actually playing at. Now the problem is, now if I keep using these cards to shoot RAW, at some point I could experience a failure, and if it's an important project, that's not going to be helpful. So SanDisk really need to get their head around this. But what I am going to do is I'm going to use the Samsung branded Evo SD cards from now on. I've looked at Integral; they're very good as well, and several other manufacturers make SD cards. The build quality is good, but not as good as the Samsung Evo line of SD cards. So for me, they get my thumbs up in terms of build quality. But SanDisk, I mean, I want to record RAW. I've got no choice but to use the Extreme Pro SD cards for the time being, but I've got to be very careful and double check that the footage has been transferred onto the computer and all the footage is playing back perfectly. So that's it for today's show. Just to recap, that not all SD cards are built the same in terms of speed, but even then, and the other factor you've got to take into account is the build quality of the casing. And at the moment, as it stands, like I've said before, Samsung seem with their Evo line seem to be making the best quality casings for their SD cards. Listen guys, that's it for today's show. Please follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the future if there is one.